Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Meng. So this is a new car model from this brand, and as you can see, it's a 124 scale Audi R8 LMS GT3 from 2019. There will be also a bit more modern version as far as I remember, but today we are talking about this silver car, which is participating as a part of the original Audi team as far as I remember. And as you can see, the box is, I would say, finished in a somewhat standard or traditional styling for Meng. So here you can see comparison with my hand. We have really nice box art here, and the marking option gives quite interesting look because I don't remember the photos of the real car, to be honest, but as you can see here we get this satin finish on the car body, so maybe it will be slightly different from what we are used to see on the car models. So overall, we have here also the list of the features. Of course, it's written that it's not a toy. Here you can also see the front and rear views. We have the paint numbers in AK Interactive, but I guess it won't be difficult to convert it into any other different brands. And here we have also the kit info and the info about the real subject. So it's written that assembled model will be 190 millimeters long, so not such a huge build, to be honest. And if we open it, here's what we have inside. I would say it's a quite tight packaging, so we will be checking everything one by one, and of course it will be interesting to see how this model is actually replicated. And all plastic bags are sealed, so each sprue is sealed in a separate plastic bag, and that will take a bit of time in order to open everything and take a closer look together. So we are going to start with the Sprue B. And here, as far as you can see, we have the parts of the subframe and also safety cage, as far as you can see here. And overall, it looks really nice. So here, for example, we have the rear cover of the engine. And also here you can see the shock absorbers. Here we have the whole cage or some part of it or section. If I zoom in closer here, you can take a closer look at all of these parts. A lot of pre-molded elements, and attachment points are quite thin, so this is really good. The same can be said about these parts. And maybe the only thing which I would like to see for this price is the metal springs for the shock absorbers, because, well, here you can see that they're pre-molded, and this is not such a cool thing in this scale, especially on the sports car. I mean, I would understand it on some civil car, but still on the sports car they could have made it a bit more detailed. Next we continue with another plastic bag and another cutting through it, so just give me a moment. I'm not sure what is the sprue. It's a Sprue D, and here we have the wheel rims. We also have the instrument panel. We have the seat, driver's seat. We also have some of the suspension parts, brake drums, which are molded together with the calipers, which is again not such a cool thing in my opinion. And also here we have the central console. I think those are headlamps and some of the minor elements for the external features. So let's zoom in and you will take a closer look at all of those parts. Maybe I'll close the lenses so that it won't be that bright, because this is a light plastic. By the way, here is the steering wheel or yoke if you prefer. Here are the wheel rims, and they look really nice. They're in two widths, as you can notice. So the rear ones obviously will be more wide in comparison with the front ones. Here we continue with the rear view mirrors, the exhaust, the headlamps, and here you can check also the instrument panel and the driver's seat, which is, as far as I remember, the one and only there, so maybe it's worth replicating a bit more features on it. And if we flip over this plastic sprue, so as you can see, the driver's seat, for example, it is detailed from both sides, which is really cool, because it should be visible even on the assembled model. I'm not sure. Yeah, I can see that we have the separate doors, so this is actually quite cool. And now I'm opening another plastic bag, so just give me a moment and I will give you a chance to check the next plastic sprue. which is more dedicated to the various technical elements, I would say. So it's because the engine here is quite visible, the rear cover, or I would say the engine cover is transparent here, so that's why it will be worth spending some time and investing into the painting process. And if I zoom in closer, you can see what I'm talking about here. So we have really nice features supplied out of the box. Of course, the whole engine will not be detailed completely, so here, for example, you can see the top cover, but still what we have here, the features which are pre-molded, this is definitely a good looking thing. And here, by the way, you can see the covers for each of the banks. And here, if we flip it over, you can see from the opposite side that we have this V structure for the engine. I guess it will be assembled out of separate parts as well, or maybe just compiled together with this element here. I'm pointing, but you are not seeing it on the camera because it's a bit too close. So overall, I can see that Meng decided also to replicate some of the interior as well, and this is really cool for 124 scale kit, because some brands trying to skip on such features, but here we have them included, so that's really nice thing to get out of the box. And now we can move this one aside and continue with the next one. This is a Sprue C. So here we have the separate doors, those two. We have the separate door cards here. We also have some of the aerodynamic elements here as well. We also have some engine parts here, or maybe the cooler fans. I can see that all of the ailerons and canards are molded separately. This is good because here on this car, in this marking, they're painted in the different colors. And if we zoom in, I guess this is the tail wing. And next we continue with the parts. I'm not sure where they will be going, maybe some air intakes. As you can see, the door cards feature pre-molded handles, and of course it would be worth to replicate this insert on the rivets. Here we continue with the aerodynamic elements which I just mentioned, and those are the separate doors. So let's flip it over. Because here on the doors, as you can see, we have also some features pre-molded. We have also the guiding elements, which will be necessary in order to position the door cards properly. And this is quite a smart design, because some model brands, if we put it this way, they do it just by omitting the guiding elements, and then you have to guesswork to do the guesswork. Here I can see that it's quite well thought, and I think it will be quite fun to assemble. So next we continue with the plastic bag, which carries another plastic bag inside, and that's because here we have the Sprue F, which is dedicated to the clear parts, as you can see, and molding quality looks great. It's really nice that all parts are wrapped into this film, so as you can see they will not be scratched by any case. And of course it's also good if the masks are included. I can see some of the, let's say, masks looking like stickers on the bottom of the box, but we will get to them a bit later. Now I would like to show you something different, which is a bit more interesting for now. So I just need to get the debonder for the step walls, because it is closed with the staples, and this is not such an easy task to remove it. Okay, one is out, and the second one. So for Audi R8, I guess it's interesting even in its civil version. So the racing version is even cooler, because you get to replicate it in this quite nice, I would say, painting schemes. And what I'm opening right now is the car body shell with some tires and rubber elements as well. The polycaps here. I mean, this is quite a typical thing for the car kit. And I'm not sure if somebody is actually using the rotating wheels. And if I zoom in again, so here we have 4 tires. Those are vinyl tires, or rubber tires if you prefer. As you can see, those are slicks, and we do not have anything on the tire walls, but I guess this is something what is the same on the Rio tires. Overall quality looks surprisingly good. We don't have the seam in the middle, so maybe it's just worth sanding it a bit so that you can get a bit more realistic looking tires. Okay, and next we continue with the car body shell. So I will just place it like this first. So as you can see, it was barely fitting the frame once it was zoomed in. Here we have the tabs which you will have to delete, of course. They're made just to protect the parts. We have the separate doors, we have the separate engine cover. We have some of the aerodynamic elements pre-molded, for example here on the rear side, which is really cool. And the same can be said about this frontal side. So everything looks really nice. The external features are good. As you can see, the side blades, as Audi calls them, they are molded separately, so you can paint them in a separate color as well. And here inside we have the Meng logo and also some guiding elements. So I guess the roof panel probably will be replicated separately, so we will see it on the next sprue probably. No, here I don't see any roof panel. I see actually the floor pane and also the interior top, so I will just open it right now. There are also suspension subframes. So here is the Sprue A, and I think this is one of the biggest in this kit as far as I remember. So as you can see, this is the floor pane with the diffusor. Here we have also the cockpit elements, as well as this large fuel tank and the engine, let's say, part as well. Here we have the frontal splitter. These are the suspension parts. And if I flip it over, here we have also some nice structure which makes this part rigid. So this is also cool because it won't be wobbly and it should keep its, let's say, structure even after the application. Next we have something interesting. So I can see that here we have the plastic bag with assembly manual, decals, masks, and even PE parts. So I know that some of you will say that for Meng it's not such an unusual thing to get the PE parts, but well, for the car kits it's unusual, so this is really cool. And I just need to open this plastic bag. Okay. So what do we have here? I saw some chrome stickers. I saw also the, as I said, PE parts and some mesh and some other interesting elements. So I will take them out one by one. I just need to catch them because they're all flying around the plastic bag, and this is a bit complex task to do. Okay, so what do we start with? Let's zoom in, remove this plastic sprue. And the first is this PE fret, or I would say the metal plate, because as you can see the thickness is quite, I would say, noticeable, and the weight is also noticeable, so this mesh should be quite durable. We also have the buckles for the seat belts, but I think we don't have any material for the seat belts, so this will be something what you will have to do by your own hands and tools, or maybe this thing will be used for the seat belts, because as you can see this is more or less textile material and you can just combine it with the buckles and then you have what you need. Next we also have the chrome stickers. So they are supplied on 2 sheets, even though I am not sure why they were printed like this. As you can see here we have the Audi logo and we also get the rear view mirrors chrome decals. They look quite nice, so it's just a matter of precise application, because usually with those things I'm not that, I would say, precise. Next we continue with the masks. So with the masks it's really cool that they're already pre-cut. As you can see, they're applied on this transparent foil and you just need to apply them on the clear parts and you'll be good to go. I'm not sure if we get the masks for the headlamps, because those large portions, I guess they will be used for the side mirrors, actually for side glasses, and that's why you will have to see how to paint the headlamps so that you don't have to, let's say, waste your time cutting the masks. Next we continue with the decals. So on the decals I don't see any mention where they are coming from, so maybe it's worth zooming out a bit and closing the lenses. So here you can see some white decals for the tires. We also have some carbon decals for the dashboard and for the driver's seat, for the central console as well, for the steering wheel, for the windscreen, also for the car body. So I can see a lot of red elements actually replicated with decals, so maybe it would be possible to avoid the masking completely and just to replicate them with the decals. I know that some of you are not such a huge fans of such solution, but for me it's a bit more fun, let's say. So what do we have here? The assembly manual. So this one is printed in form of a color printed brochure. As you can see, it looks quite nice. Maybe I'll just open the lenses a bit because it's quite dark. And it's printed on a thick paper. Here we continue with the safety advices and also some tips on how you should work with the plastic kit, some recommended tools. So assembly process starts with the chassis assembly, and as you can see here we have also the translation into several languages. Why I'm laughing because it's also the Russian included here, and also we continue with the brakes here. So as you remember, we have the brake drums molded together with the calipers, so you have to mask them somehow. That's why I wasn't that happy, because usually they're just molded separately. Here Meng decided to simplify it. Here we continue with the steering linkage. Then we continue with more of the wheel fenders being installed from both sides. Then, by the way, here you can see the driver's seat. So yes, we are using these black textile things for the seat belts. And this is really cool because basically you don't have to get some aftermarket. You have it included into the kit. Next, we continue with the... I can see some parts for the interior central console with some decals applied, as you can see, and also the driver's seat gets into the place. Then we continue with the steering column and the steering wheel being installed onto this dashboard. Next we install it onto the floor panel, and then we start working on the engine. So with the engine, I can see that it might be worth painting everything separately and then just assembling together. As you can see, it's a more or less detailed thing. Maybe the aftermarket producers, they will release something even more detailed in terms of the wiring and other stuff. But I think for out-of-the-box thing, it's a really good thing. And here we have the roll cage. So this one is assembled out of separate elements, as you remember. Might be worth also painting it at once, obviously. And here we continue the bulkhead for the engine compartment. Then we have the top part of the roll cage. Then more of the brakes being installed on the rear. And here we have the road wheels, the clear parts. And next is the bodywork parts assembly. So that's the front air vents. As far as you can see here, we also have some decals tips there in the small section. Then here we have more of the aerodynamic elements being installed here and there, so this is quite interesting. And also pay attention to how those painted, because as I say, they are painted in a different colors, so might be worth to paint them separately and then just install it onto the car body. Next we continue with more of the body panels going together, and also here you can see the tail lights. The doors assembly is here. By the way, those are the side blades, which also can be painted into separate color. Next we have the doors. So I can see that they should not be glued, and this is quite interesting because maybe they will be just workable on the car, and then you just join the suspension or the chassis together with the car body. And here we continue with the front grille, which is formed or shaped with help of this part, so that's what for it. What it for. And here we have the rear wing and with this swan neck attachment, which is really cool. Next we continue with the engine hood assembly, and I can see these clear parts being used for it. And then we have the paint chart. Here you can see the one and only marking option. I guess there will be some aftermarket decals available, but in the kit you get only one. And by the way, here you can see those canards in the red color. That's why I was saying that it might be worth painting them separately and just avoid the unnecessary masking. Here we have the parts map, some white pages for some notes, and here we have the Meng logo. But that's not all, because there is also another brochure included here, which is something what I was not expecting in this kit. Here you can see it. So I guess this one is dedicated to the, let's say, not history, but the story behind this Audi. And as you can see, it's written in several languages, and I'm not sure why there are not that many photos. So it is a cool idea, but there are no photos whatsoever. What could be a useful brochure with some reference material of the real car photos? No, here you will not get it. So overall, we get a quite nice car model, and I think this is one of the best Audi R8 kits on the market. So in case you would like to build this racing version in 1/24 scale, then definitely check it out. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion, so do not forget to write it here in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.